Hey everybody, welcome back to Your Average Logical Thinker. Thank you so much for tuning in. All right, so today we're just gonna get right to it, all right? So there was a video that I watched earlier today about a woman of six, 5 girls and 1 baby boy who was brutally murdered by her boyfriend. He stabbed her 18 times and he left the knife impaled in her face in broad daylight inside of a van. Now this mother is gone and her children are going to be orphans to family members or the system, who knows. However, the problem is that 1 in 4 women experience domestic violence every single year. There are 10 million people in the world, including men, that experience domestic violence, okay? Just in 2020, 47,000 worldwide women were murdered by a significant other, somebody close to them within close proximity. So it is very, very important that we just do our due diligence and do what we got to do in order to not end up in this situation. And I'm telling you right now, ladies, these men are not playing, okay? So there's 2 things that you can do. May seem simple, not that easy, but it is possible, okay? There are preventative measures that you can do in order to make sure that you do not become a statistic, because this shit is getting rampant, okay? They say in 2020, there were 2 women every day that were murdered by a significant other. 2 women per day in the United States. This was in 2020, okay? Over 18,000, or 1,800, I'm sorry, 1,800 people were murdered by their significant other in 2020. And I have a feeling that we are already at that right now in 2022 in August. So when the statistics come out in a year or 2, we'll be able to go back and say, hey, it's an upward trend, okay? So listen, there are 2 solutions that I got, all right? But if you stick to the end, you're gonna hear these solutions. So if 1 person hears this video, just 1 person, if I can get to 1 person to listen to this message, it's not a game. Okay, so one of the things that you can do when you are in a relationship with somebody, you gotta vet that person. Okay, there's red flags every single where. Okay, before destruction hits, there's always warning signs. All right, there's always something stirring up in the mud or whatever. But it is up to you to listen to those signs. Use your gut instinct. Rely on a friend. Every time I was in a situation or a relationship and I started seeing red flags, what I did was I reached out to people that I knew genuinely loved me and had my best interest at heart, and ask them, hey, this is what's happening in the relationship so far. What do you think of this? And that person is going to be honest and tell me, hey, guess what, sis? That ain't it. He is not the one. You need to keep it moving, right? So after listening to that and trusting that my friends will not tell me anything wrong, I always kept it in the back of my mind. And as those red flags start to build and build and build, then you start seeing it, and then you have to take action, okay? And a lot of times that action is getting out, okay? Don't stick around. Don't wait for the worst of the worst to happen, okay? Because at the end of the day, we cannot rely on policymakers, we cannot rely on the government, and we sure as hell cannot rely on the police. Now, a lot of these cases, especially the one that I heard about today with the mother of 6, she had a restraining order out on this man, okay? But that didn't stop him, okay? One thing, a big red flag that you can know, a big red flag that's out there is somebody that has nothing to lose, okay? Somebody that would stab somebody else 18 times in broad daylight is obviously a motherfucker that has nothing to lose. So if you are dating somebody that has nothing to lose, that right there is a red flag, okay? There's nothing for him to lose. So him going to jail is probably a fucking reward. You understand what I'm saying? Okay? So when you are in these relationships, you need to be looking at these things, okay? Use your God-given instincts, okay? They say that humans are the only animals on this planet that do not rely on their instincts. We are the only ones that give people the benefit of the doubt. Every other animal uses their instincts to stay alive. We need to start doing that too, okay? So when you are in these relationships, okay, there are certain red flags that will pop up. These are just real easy, simple ones, but a lot of us still ignore them because we love this person. We didn't already gave our body. We didn't spend so much time. We may have married these people. We got kids by these people. But guess what? You're not going to be around to enjoy any of it if you are ignoring these signs, okay? So one of the signs that's big and obvious is verbal abuse. People will abuse you. People will talk down to you, make you feel like nothing, try to isolate you, all that good stuff, okay? That is a huge sign that that person has a tendency to abuse you. And a lot of times it escalates, but it happens over a long period of time. So if you're in a relationship where the person is verbally abusing you, I'm telling you right now, get out now, because it does not get better. People have a lot of unresolved trauma, a lot of healing that needs to take place. And if they're not doing the work, they're going to project that onto you, okay? The person that's closest to them, all right? Another red flag is somebody that destroys property, okay? Somebody that punches holes in the wall, may talk crazy to your kids, may touch your kids, may playfully fight with you, but they're a little bit too rough, you know what I'm saying? Those right there are red flags. That's something to keep in your head, okay? Just always be mindful of that, okay? So, backgrounds, past relationships. When you're meeting somebody and you're courting them, you're dating them, it's very, very important that you get to know who they are and where they come from. You got to know what type of trauma that they dealt with as a child, things that they went through. Were they bullied in high school? You know, did they have a lot of friends? Were they popular? Were they unpopular? You know, did they get bullied a lot? Things like this. You got to figure all this stuff out. I met a guy one time that I was dating for 2 months. It took me 2 months to realize, nope, you're not it. And guess what? Phew, I got out of there, okay? So he told me that he had a child. His child at this time was maybe 18 or 19, already out of the house or whatever. But he stated to me that the mother kept moving. And so he hadn't seen his kid in probably the last 10 years and hadn't contacted his kid because the mom kept moving. He couldn't find her, right? Why do you think that is? Why is that woman moving so much, huh? So that was something that I always kept in the back of my head. First of all, women, don't date men that don't take care of their kids. And don't date men whose past relationships decided to bounce and you have no idea what their side of the story is. I have no idea. I'm not saying that he ever put his hands on her, but there's a big chance that something happened in order for her to not want him to know where he lived in order to protect herself and her child. And sometimes that is just what you got to do, okay? Another one is misogyny. Now, I'm not saying that being misogynistic is necessarily a bad thing, because there are men who believe in male and female roles and like the traditional way of doing things. And I respect that, because I like manly men as well. However, when it gets to a point where the man is making you feel bad because you are a woman, making you feel bad for being in your femininity, that's a problem. There are men out there that literally do hate women, okay? There are men that hate women. So you have to be careful of the things that they speak and how they verbalize and things like that, because that is a red flag, okay? That means he does not respect you. And if a man does not respect you, he could put his hands on you and kill you, okay? So, like I said, the last red flag, somebody that has nothing to lose. Ladies, never, ever, ever invite a man into your home, and especially around your children, and he has nothing to lose. And when I say nothing to lose, I mean he doesn't even have the basic necessities, the bottom tier of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If he don't have a place to stay, if he don't have a job bringing in income, you know what I'm saying? If he doesn't have a vehicle in order to get to that job, things like that. If he doesn't pay his bills on time, these are all red flags. This is somebody that has nothing to lose. He don't take care of his kids. He's just out here just to be living, okay? Those type of men, there's no way they could respect you. You know why? Because they don't respect themselves, okay? So those are the red flags, just some quick ones. There are tons more, okay? But it is so important that you think about these things and always have this in the back of your mind. Don't be afraid to ask questions, to get deep, to find out where his mind is and how he thinks, okay? Because a lot of men look at women as nothing but objects. We're just like that lamp or that TV over there. A thing to do, okay? Something to use up. Those type of men definitely have a tendency to be abusive to women. So you have to look at these signs, okay? So like I said, you cannot rely on the government. You can't rely on your cousins coming to whoop his ass. You can't rely on none of that, okay? What you can rely on, though, is using your gut instincts, knowing what doesn't feel right in your heart and soul. Yes, you may be lonely. Yeah, you may want some company every now and again, but wouldn't you rather be alive and be around for your children? Definitely. It's not worth it. There's no dick that's worth it, okay? There's no dick that's worth it, okay? But I would rather die alone and healthy and around for my kid in order to see my kid grow and have a family of his own. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm not looking forward to a relationship where I got to vet a whole bunch of different men and bring them into my home and then have to worry about whether they're, abusive or not and all that. No, 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 no. So that's one of my solutions, okay, is celibacy. But very first solution that I have for you ladies is protection. Okay, protection. Okay, if you live in a state where you can conceal carry, please do it. Get you a gun. Okay, get you a gun so that you can protect yourself and you protect your family, period, point blank. If men knew that you have a weapon and that you're not afraid to use it, they are less likely to try you in that way, okay? I watched a video where a man went to his ex's house, came in the house, started taking everything out of the house. She called the police. The police sat there and watched him take everything because he was still on the lease, okay? In the middle of that, he took the refrigerator, the microwave, the stove, and tossed it over the porch. He was like, it's my shit, right? It's my stuff. And the cops were like, oh, if it's your stuff, you're on the lease. Yeah, there's nothing we can do about that. It's your property. You can do whatever you want with your property, right? Let me tell you the reason why this man was mad. This man was mad because his woman was messing around with somebody else. He's out on the road providing, sending money there to help pay for the bills, and she's messing with somebody else. She claims she already told him it was over, but for him to be that upset about it, I don't know. The level of anger that this man was displaying on this video, I know for a fact that if the police weren't there, he probably would have put his hands on her. He was that irate, that upset, and she was nonchalant, and she was actually antagonizing him. So here's the thing though. You think he put his hands on her, tried her before or after the cops got there? Absolutely not. You want to know why? Because her best friend was there, loaded. Her best friend had her gun with her, and she let it be known, look here, if you try something, that's your ass. That's your ass. So here's my thing too. We have to be careful of the things that we say and how we treat people, okay? Because I do believe in karma. Karma is a bitch, and it will come back on you like none other, okay? I've experienced karma, and I've been blessed to see karma happen to people that have done me wrong. But I'll tell you one thing. When you treat people badly and you just use them, a lot of these men are getting tired of being used. They're getting tired of being used, and they're not just sitting around and saying, oh, well, move on to that. No, they want you to pay for it. So you also got to be careful of how you treat people too. You know what I'm saying? Because that man will come back. There was just the woman that had the Marine husband. She got pregnant for somebody else. I don't know the full story, but she got pregnant for somebody else. And she had been calling his first sergeants and everybody else in his chain of command to get him in trouble. Apparently, he had been putting his hands on her, but she was also doing YouTube videos, making him look bad, talking about the people in his command, all that good stuff. He got tired, and while they were in the car, guess what he did? Stabbed her up too. And now she's dead. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful of the words that you speak, the way you antagonize people, things like that, you know? So I'm not just putting it on just the men. I also want to make the women responsible. And that's who I'm talking to. I'm talking to you women out there, because guess what? You do have power. You have power to move. You have power to get out of a relationship. You have the power to protect yourself, your body, and your children. Okay. So the second thing, besides getting a weapon, making sure that you got that weapon, because like I said, they will at least think twice, 2 or 3 times before they come at you if they know you got a weapon and know how to use it. Promise you, okay? Second thing, not easy, but possible, okay? Celibacy. Just leave them alone, especially if you got 2 and 3 and 4 kids or whatever, and your kids are small. Guess what? All your attention needs to be on them, period. It's nice to have a man. It's nice to have a companion. It's nice to have somebody to come home to and cook to and have that intimacy and things like that. All that stuff is nice, but at the end of the day, sometimes it's just not worth it, okay? Now, if you find you a good one that loves you and your children, respects you, praises you, takes care of things, helps out, feeds into you and the family, and you guys are going to make this thing work, good for you. But if you have a man around you and your children, and that man is no good, and you know it in your heart, it's not worth it. I vet men very, very quickly. It does not take me long to see, because you know what? Eventually the mask falls off. So in between that phase, before I'm even giving up the cookies, I'm talking, I'm getting to know, I'm trying to figure out what you like, what you think like, what you da. Sometimes I slip up, of course, and I mess up because, you know, I got needs, right? Those worldly, fleshly needs. But those needs can be put aside to get to know a person first before you give your body up. Because guess what? When you give your body up, that makes it easier for you to overlook those red flags. So give it some time. If you can't just go celibate and focus on building your business, working hard, raising your kids, making sure that they're the smartest ones in class, taking them to their sports events, because that right there in itself is enough to take up a lot of your time. And if you have good friends in your life, people that can occupy that social time that you need, going out and having dinner and lunches and things like that, brunch, all that good stuff, you know, that type of stuff is what should be occupying you. You should be volunteering in your community, meeting other people that are at a level that you want to get to. These are things that you can be doing instead of focusing on a man. A lot of times we get a man and we'll keep them regardless of the red flags because we want to be able to say, oh, I got a man. Where's yours at? You know what I'm saying? Well, I got a husband, so you can't tell me nothing. Listen, it's not worth it. Not when your life is at danger. There are so many women being abused mentally, physically, emotionally, verbally, financially. There's women out here taking care of men. That's a red flag. That means that man ain't got nothing to lose. And you are the easiest target, okay? Especially women with children. So please listen to me. Don't give it up right away. Give it time. Find out what he's about. Look for those red flags, okay? Now, I'm not saying everybody that has red flags or came from a traumatic past don't deserve love. Everybody deserves love. But if they haven't worked on themselves, if they haven't been to therapy or done the treatment or have surrounded themselves with good people, and they've changed their lives and they're learning and they're doing the best that they can, and you can physically see the change, because it's not about what a person says, it's about what they do, okay? So if you're dealing with somebody that has these red flags or whatever, it's easier to just cut it out in the beginning, okay? I dated a guy one time, another guy, and he, I said something slick. You know, I messed up. And in the middle of, I said something slick. I said something to the effect of, don't make it easy for another guy to come around here and get what's yours. And he stopped, turned around, the look in his eye. He said, what'd you say? Do you think I said it? I didn't repeat that shit, because I know people have the ability to snap just like that. Sometimes things can just trigger people. So we always have to be cognizant. And that's why it's good to know who it is that you're dealing with. Know the innards of them. Know them. See how they are when they're frustrated. See how they are when they're happy. See what they are when they're bothered. You know? And just always take note. So, 2 solutions. Number 1, weapon. Keep a weapon on you. Keep it on you when you're dealing with these people, especially if you have already been in a situation, a domestic violence situation with somebody in the past. A lot of times it just makes it a little bit easier for those type of people to seek you out, because it's something about you that draws them to you. And because you haven't healed from that, you are most likely to go ahead and invite that back in. You know what I'm saying? So, weapon. Learn Taekwondo. Learn some stuff, some jiu-jitsu or whatever, and learn some self-defense, take some self-defense classes, and carry, okay? And let it be known that you carry. Very, very important. And don't let them know where the weapon is in your home, okay? Number 2, celibacy. Just stay home, take care of your kids, live your life, get your life up, level up, okay? Because that right there is gonna take, you know, I got rid of a guy 7 months ago, and since then, God has blessed me tremendously, okay? My creativity has gone up. I stopped drinking. Things are great in my life right now, and I'm grateful for that. And every time I see an article like this, it makes me want to stay single a little bit longer. That's God telling me, yeah, sis, you ain't ready. You ain't ready. There's too much out here, you know, and you still got stuff to do. So right now, I'm just working. Right? I'm staying positive. Does it get lonely? Hell yeah. But guess what? There are things you can do. You guys ever heard of the rose? Get you a rose. Get you a nice toy. You know what I'm saying? And that feeling will surpass just like that. Okay? So think about what I said. But I love you all If you know somebody going through this, please send them this video because they need to hear it. I'm tired of my sisters being killed every single day.